When it comes to living life, there's a lot to overthink, but I don't ever have to overthink my water. I've been drinking Smart Water for years and truly love its pure, crisp taste. It's vapor distilled through a process inspired by clouds. I love chic branding, and Smart Water's sleek bottle shape makes it the perfect accessory for any day bag, workout tote, or backpack. Smart Water is the smart way to hydrate no matter what you have going on in your life. Life is full of choices. Smart Water is a simple one. Visit drinksmartwater.com to learn more.
Hear that? Yeah, that's the sound of you relaxing, because now you're managing diabetes with the Freestyle Libre 3 system. You get to know your glucose levels and where it's headed. Manage your diabetes with more confidence with the Freestyle Libre 3 system. Ready to learn more about the #1 prescribed CGM in the U.S.? Visit freestylelibre.us to learn more. Based on retail sales data for patients' last filled prescription by manufacturer. Refer to the FLAIR NL4 study published in BMJ Open Diabetes Research and Care 2019. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
This is Dr. Laurie Santos from the Happiness Lab. Many people have questions about how to improve levels of happiness. Living a healthy lifestyle is one sure way of increasing happiness. And a good place to start is with your oral health. Just a few small changes to your oral care routine, such as changing your toothpaste to Colgate Total, can lead to beneficial changes in your oral health. Colgate Total helps stop oral health problems like gingivitis and cavities before they start, because preventing oral health problems is a lot easier than treating them. Be dentist ready and get Colgate Total at shop.colgate.com/total.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Rachel Zoe.
And I'm Roger Berman.
And you're listening to Works for Us, where we talk to people about what works for them in their relationships and, of course, what doesn't. Okay, so I think one of the things that Roger and I love the most about doing Works for Us is that we get to have very deep, very quality, meaningful conversations with people that we truly love and have loved for very, very long time. And even if we've known them for what feels like forever, like today's guests, I'm always really surprised still to find out new details about their love stories and their relationships that I actually never knew before. So today's guests are one of the absolute, I can say this, absolute hottest, most beautiful couples in the world, Brian Atwood and Dr. Jake Deutsch. The issue is we really just call him Dr. Jake all the time. Which is a title that he earned.
I actually call him Dr. Jake Amore. Is actually how I refer to him typically.
For those of you that know Friends, you know that reference.
And by the way, since they're a very fashionable crew, I think we should describe what they are wearing. I'm
not done introducing them.
I don't care.
Okay,
let's go to the good
fine.
stuff. Jake, those sunglasses are insane.
They're not really sunglasses. They're optical.
They're like optic. They're like sort of like, I don't need sunglasses, but I do need sunglasses, but you could see my eyes, but you can't see my eyes. I'm so mysterious. I'm amazing.
Yeah, you're giving me 70s disco vibes now.
They're kind of like
they're
kind of like Bono shades a little bit.
They're very Tom
He's
Ford.
channeling his inner Tom Ford.
I was going to say, to me, they're very like Tom Ford vibe. A little denim, some great eyewear. And Brian is wearing an LA Dodgers hat.
Wow, I'm surprised you knew it was a Dodgers.
I was actually scared when I said that I was wrong, but I just knew it was
But it's
LA.
a nude.
I've never seen a nude colored LA
chic,
Dodgers. I've only seen the blue and the black. Is that a gray market?
It's a trucker hat, Raj.
He's paying homage to you.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay, so can I finish my introduction, please? So, Brian is one of the most iconic, legendary shoe designers who worked for many years as a runway model. So for those of you that don't know what he looks like, I promise you, he can play that part. Before being discovered by the late Gianni Versace, one of my all-time idols, he became the very first American designer to work for Versace and later launched his own incredible shoe line, Brian Atwood, in 2001, which quickly became a brand favorite amongst so many celebrities, countless celebrities. I don't even think we could begin to say how many celebrities have worn Brian Atwood on the carpet. His gorgeous, I say gorgeous first, I really should say brilliant first because it's more respectful, but I have to say his gorgeous and brilliant partner, Dr. Jake Deutsch, is a very busy physician while also being the founder and clinical director of Cure Urgent Care, which aims to raise the standard of urgent care, which I promise you it has. By far and away the most gorgeous doctor on the planet, and happens to be an extraordinary doctor. And I remember when I first met him, which I'll get into later, I thought he was kidding when he said he was a doctor. But he really wasn't. He was like working in the ER.
Actually, an ER
Brian
doctor.
thought I was an actor. Right? I thought he was an actor.
I did think you were an actor. I thought you were 100% an actor. And he said, actually, I'm an ER doctor. I was like, very funny.
No, because we met at a party and it was loud. And I said, I'm a doctor. And Brian heard actor. And then when we met again officially, like that was like...
I totally forget that party, by the way. I never met you.
You were with your ex. And I said, hi. And because I was like, oh, he's so handsome. And I said, I'm a doctor. And he heard actor. And then,
thank God he heard actor. You wouldn't have been interested. If he was like a doctor, Brian, we'd be like, whatever, loser. He's like, sounds like he has to go to work like a normal person. I don't like that.
Well, here's the thing, guys. So as I mentioned before, I have known Brian and Jake. I've known Brian for what I think is my entire adult life after college, basically. And I have known Jake since pretty much maybe 5 days after he met Brian. So literally, and I can't wait to hear the very in-depth story of how you guys found each other, how you fell in love. Welcome to Works For Us, Brian and Jake. Okay, guys.
Thank you. We're excited.
Thank you. Well, we wanted to announce first we're separating.
Stop. What? Jake! You can't separate because you're not technically married, are you?
No, actually, I'm pretty good with that.
I thought it would be the perfect place to do that.
Jake
No, I think I'm pretty
funny.
good with that because we could talk about how the relationship didn't work. I mean, it would be such good fodder. Can you just do that for me, please?
But I will say, you guys, the thing is, on Works For Us, we've talked to many people that their stories were not just like a very happy, lack of drama kind of scenario. This is not like a Cinderella story all the time. But we do always like to start at the beginning. And I think with both of you, I mean, obviously, Rodger and I especially know that the sort of your story, but I guarantee there's still many parts that we don't. And I really want to share with our listeners because I think there are so many people out there in our lives, as you guys know, that have not found love, have not found their forever person, have not found their relationship. And I think that you guys have such a beautiful story and we want to share it. So can you give us a little bit, the good, the bad, the ugly of how you met and just like how it all happened?
Well, it started on Facebook when people really communicated through Facebook because Jake's best friend, Brendan Monahan, posted a picture of Jake on Facebook. And I knew Brendan through the fashion world. And I was like, oh my God, this is after I just broke up out of a relationship. And I added Jake as a friend quickly. And I saw that Jake was online and I saw that he accepted it the minute I added it.
Jake,
and then it kind of started.
You're so easy, Jake.
I didn't know he was out of a relationship, knew nothing about him, don't remember ever meeting him. And then
it wasn't a minute. It was like a normal amount of time.
No, it was like a second, babes.
But it was a quick yes. It was a quick yes.
You accepted.
I mean, that was so long ago. It's when we had like dial-up modem.
Yes.
Internet.
By the way,
How long has it been? How long has it been?
Wait, don't tell me. I want to see if I can get it right. 2009, 10?
2009.
12 years.
2009.
12 years.
Summer to August 2009.
Good. Yeah, August, and then we came to see you in September,
Yep.
I think, right?
Yep.
Was it
Yep.
September?
Just before Labor Day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Last weekend
But
of summer.
the other part is I remember saying to Brian, like, I'm not looking for anything long-term serious.
Wait.
I just got out of a 9-year relationship.
Blah, blah, blah. That's when we met in person finally.
I know.
Because I was in Europe and it was the summertime. So obviously I was in Greece and I said,
Obviously, I love that.
I
For all of you dum-dums, out there.
Brian has to go to Capri in June and Greece in August. And if you don't know that.
For all of you dum-dums out there, he was
And now what
obviously
we
in Greece
do.
for August.
But I remember because I wasn't going to be back in New York until August 27th. And I asked
so
him if
early?
he was a good kisser. First thing I did, he opened the door, I kissed him, and I just said yes. And that's actually when I remember first meeting. And we went to dinner at the Standard Grill.
Yep.
And I was like, do we really have to eat? I was just like, okay.
Really? Brian is such an SLUT.
Well, just talk,
He's a Leo.
I guess he knows what he wants, and he didn't want what was on the menu.
Right.
He wanted
say
something
that.
else.
Exactly.
Oh, I said it out loud to anyone, to all 7 people listening.
So
I said
now
it, Rachel.
every time we pass the apartment that I lived in at that time, Brian's like, that's where we first made love. Every time.
Cutest.
Oh my God. And you said you weren't looking for a relationship on the roof.
Yeah.
When we were having like dinner or something.
So my point is I think that that's part of why things started well, is because there wasn't an expectation of like, all right, this has to be the one.
Right. There was some.
We went into it like let's see what happens. And of course it accelerated, like at lesbian pace, but
then you moved in
but
like 2 months in.
Yeah. It was like 3 months later,
amazing.
we were like moving in together.
Yeah. And that's when we first met. I think the first time we met you was at our house when Brian brought you over. Brian brought you for the weekend, I think.
Hold on.
Wasn't it the first time I met Jake?
Hold up.
I think it was.
Hold up. I need to tell this from an unbiased perspective. What actually happened was we were at my parents' house out in the Hamptons, and Brian said, so I'm going on a date with this guy.
Oh, I
We're
remember.
coming to the Hamptons. And I said to him, okay, well, you're welcome to stay here, but that's probably weird because it's like your first date and I don't want him to feel pressured and awkward and whatever. So maybe stay at this hotel, like da-da-da-da-da. Brian went out, he came to the house. You guys, we met you. We fell in love in like 5 minutes, all of us. You went to the hotel. Literally within 2 hours, you came back with your bags.
Yeah, they checked out.
And you checked out. You were like, can we stay here? We're like, yes, duh. My parents were in Europe.
Yep, her parents were away.
We had probably the best weekend ever. Jake cooked.
Oh my God, I just remember
weekend.
Jake making blueberry pancakes.
Like
that is what I
sickest
remember.
pancakes.
Like the next morning, we all bonded over blueberry pancakes is how I remember it.
And I
Great
remember my
weekend.
mom coming back and I was like, Brian's in love. She's like, what do you mean Brian's in love? I haven't even met him. He can't be in love. And then and then they met Jake and the rest was
And now
really
your mom's
history.
in love with you.
Exactly.
I love your mom.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And your father.
But I have to say just something totally separate, that if you guys have seen Jake, he's big on Instagram. He's been very active in the pandemic. I personally have used him as my consultant for many breakdowns that I was having when I felt the world was ending. Jake and I have done Instagram lives about vaccine and the fears. And I think, Jake, we're probably due for another one with all that's going on because people really learned a lot from it. And I think I come from a very civilian perspective of some fear, some apprehension, but really, as Jake would say, trusting science. But I think so many new things have happened. So we have more to talk about. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
So before we move forward, I just love getting first impressions.
I think we know the first impression.
Well, but like really the first impressions. Like,
wait, my first impression of them or their first impression of each other?
Nobody cares about you, Rachel. They're our guests. But it is a good story of how we met Brian Atwood. So you're welcome to tell the audience how we met Brian Atwood, actually, because that's an interesting story as well.
Okay. So, all right. So here's the thing. As I've mentioned 20 times in the last 20 minutes, Brian is extremely handsome. And I'm known to have this kind of type. And they're typically dark hair, darker skin, like very strong features.
Like me?
Totally. And I will never forget being in Paris. And I'm going to say, I mean, Brian, you were still at Versace, I think. So.
No, he was.
That's why I was there.
It wasn't not. That's why he was
at
there.
Versace because we were there for Donatella's couture show in Paris, I believe.
Yep.
And
it was July.
It was July. And I remember after the show, we were at, was it Le Bandouche?
Yes, it was.
Right?
Le Bandouche.
Good memory.
And I remember.
We have pictures from that night. We have pictures from that night. Somebody does. Either you do or I do.
They're not digital, guys, because digital did not exist.
Night.
What'd you say? I'm sorry?
I'm sure I still have a picture of you on the table dancing and Scott and Bianca right behind you.
Yeah, that was old.
And here's the thing, guys. So Roger and I, were we married yet? No.
No.
So we weren't married. but we were together for definitely many years. And Rodger goes, so you have a crush on him, don't you? And I was like, I mean, whatever, babe. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? He's like, I mean, he's not bad looking, babe. Like, and Rodger would literally, we've been together so long that we can like say things like that and it's not that dramatic. However, Brian is like this magnet. And all of a sudden I was like, we were dancing and next thing I know I'm dancing with Brian. And I was like, he's abnormally handsome. It's not normal. And I remember after that, we became really good friends, but I obviously kind of had a crush on him. And, but like, you know, a healthy crush, like you have crush on good looking people, right?
I totally agree.
But did you know like, what his orientation was?
No. Yeah. I did not know his orientation.
The news of the orientation was
much later.
Was received well.
I was so happy.
Was received well on my part.
Sure it was. Yeah.
He was quite the enigma back in the day.
I mean, even Versace was trying to figure it out.
It's true. I think it was not.
Yeah, you weren't out yet, were you?
No, not at all.
No.
I don't think Brian was out officially at all. And I think that there was definitely, I don't even think I thought that there was a question of his orientation, to be honest, because, you know, we're in fashion. I think, what's an orientation? So I think at the end of the day, I will cut this short by saying we developed an incredible friendship, even though I really had just a continuous crush on him, but with great, what's the word? Not surprised, but like I was very happy.
Disappointment?
To find that he really was in love with other people that were not me, and he preferred to be in love with men. And so for me, that was a really happy day because I was like, wow, I get to have Brian as the closest person to me
and Rodger.
Sure. Yes, win. So we just got to be best friends forever. And, you know, Jake and I
was
got
in medical school. You guys were dancing on the table.
100%.
Well, someone had to do it.
100%. When it comes to both fashion and interior design, I'm a firm believer in investing in amazing statement pieces and using accessories to create a unique and very individual look. I ordered the most gorgeous black with gold detailed dining chairs from Article, and I'd originally thought I would use them as dining room chairs. However, the fit in my formal dining room wasn't exactly right, but fortunately, they were absolutely perfect for my new office conference room. They are so chic and sophisticated and add just the perfect touch of glamour to the room. With the holiday season just around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your home ready for entertaining. From the joyful excitement of a welcoming entryway to the comfort of a beautiful yet relaxed dining space, Article's newest collection invites guests to make themselves right at home. And you can trust that you're getting the best quality with Article. Article's team of designers focuses on beautifully crafted pieces made from quality materials and durable construction. Article is inspired by a variety of modern design aesthetics like mid-century Scandinavian, industrial, and bohemian, so you know that they'll have the pieces that suit your individual taste and style. Plus, you can save up to 30% over traditional retail prices because Article has cut out the middleman and sells directly to you. No showrooms, salespeople, or retail markups. And that is huge. It's such a smart business model. And as far as shipping goes, you can rest assured that with Article, shipping is fast, affordable, and available across the USA and Canada. And it's free on orders over $999. Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Go to article.com/Zoe and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/Zoe to get $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. But I will say both Jake and Rodger are so, they're so generous with how they let Brian and I have our special relationship. They always, Jake and Rodger always sit next to each other at a dinner, and they make sure that Brian and I are next to each other holding hands.
We're similar and they're similar.
We're the brains of the separation.
Yeah.
And you're also really
Jake.
grumpy. And they're both very moody and grumpy. And Brian and I are always happy.
If you were married to either one of you, not that they're married, but you'd be fucking grumpy too. Jesus Christ. It takes so much energy just to get through a day with you.
And just being based in reality is exhausting.
Oh, we don't want to be based in reality.
I know.
Why be based in reality when you have to be?
Oof, because that's how the world works.
Ignorance is bliss.
Anyway, yeah. So
me and Raj need to have a separate podcast.
Yeah, we really do.
About dealing with.
It should be called Keeping It Real.
Well, when you talk about impressions, so my impression of Brian was before I had met him that he was going to be crazy, that he was going to be like, a drug addict and like one of these like fashion people that's self-absorbed and completely annoying, and nothing's going to come from this. So not only was there's no long-term happening here, that was what I had anticipated.
Right.
So when I met him, it was quite a surprise to realize that he was very normal and very down to earth and incredibly humble.
And such a family person.
Yeah, no, I agree. Right. Brian is a very normal person at the same time.
I just assumed he's going to have like some underlying psychiatric illness or personality disorder. And it was the exact opposite. And, aside from him being very, very good looking, like you've very extensively detailed.
Sorry, Jake. Jake, you're just as good looking.
Jake, you've had so much attention to. Stop. Oh, and did we mention that Jake has a 6-pack or an 8-pack? I don't want to insult you.
12.
How many?
Is it?
What
12.
is it?
It's
6.5.
It's a 6. I'm getting a little older, but
please.
I have a point to make here. So,
but it's so much more fun to talk about your 6-pack.
Let him make a point.
He just turned out to be an awesome person on top of their attraction being there. And that's really what I think attracted me the most. And he's a reflection of his family. His family's all in medicine. So we had that, kind of relationship. And, there was just so much more substance there that it was exciting and different. And our worlds couldn't be more different. But, I've always loved fashion in a way. And so being able to experience what Brian's world was exciting and very, very interesting while we started to get to know each other.
Mm-hmm. And think about Brian being able to tell his Jewish mother, I met a doctor.
Married a doctor.
Think about that's all by the way, just so you know, that's all he was thinking about, okay? Just so you're aware. He's like, I hope he's good looking enough. I hope he's good looking enough.
Jake,
I hope he's good looking enough. Oh my God, he is. And he's a doctor.
And he's a doctor.
That's really all he thought about. All of your personality disorders and flaws, he just looked right over it.
Can I say something?
That's what you do as a Jew.
Can I say something? But Jake, it's a very, very good point, because I always think about why Brian and I actually connected in the insane world that we were living in. And I think, to your point, I've always said, I'm like this kind of like normal family girl, whatever normal is. I don't know what normal is, but like in this insane world of fashion and all of that. But somehow I think ultimately, Brian and I very much connected on that. Like that our families, our friends, like that at the end of the day, we kind of just wanted to be with our like safe people that we were happiest with.
It's always so important.
I agree. And I picked up on that when we first met, because again, my preconceived notion of yourself was what I had, read in the press or whatever. And, it was
the opposite.
It was so different. And I remember telling people like, wow, we hung out with his friend Rachel and Rodger and they're so normal. Yeah. And I didn't expect that. So it was a great start on many levels.
Hey, Brian, would you tell us, have you been spending a lot of time at like emergency rooms and stuff and trying to move into Jake's world a little bit since you've met? I'm just wondering, or is Jake really doing, have you joined him at medical conferences? I'm just wondering.
No, guys, during COVID, he has become basically my like medical assistant.
Oh yeah. I answer questions and like tell him what they need.
Ask him anything. He could answer it.
By the way, Jake, I have to tell you, I called you a couple times about like certain things. Like I would be like, oh my God, I have a headache. What is it? And Brian would ask me like 9 questions.
Yeah, he's
any other symptoms?
Literally. And then Jake would be like, why is she texting you and not me? Well, she gets quick answers with me.
Are you saying that Brian's practicing without a medical license? Is that what we're trying?
Yes.
Is he an employee at your clinic?
He's under my direct supervision.
Perfect.
Excellent. Good to say. Well, that was fun.
So we have to ask them actual questions?
Oh, yeah. So take it forward. All right. So now the honeymoon. When did the honeymoon wear off where you were like, okay, now we're like
not
normal
married,
people?
So it's a perpetual honeymoon.
By the
it
way,
hasn't worn off.
Jake, can I mention that or no? Can I mention the fact that
we're doing the Curtin Goldie,
and we don't have kids, so
yeah, I feel like I did get an engagement announcement, or there was an engagement.
Okay,
I do remember. I distinctly remember an engagement
party we had.
Yeah,
which was shared with his brother and sister because they got engaged at the same time. One did not get married, the other one did, and we had this group engagement party. It was wonderful, and we learned that never slow dance in front of a group of people.
Oh my God, that was so uncomfortable. That was so weird.
It is weird. It's the worst thing ever. I agree with that.
I think that should be removed from the wedding process.
Yes.
I agree.
I just do.
It's like it should just be everyone join the couple up on the dance floor right now. The newlywed, like go right into it.
It was so painful. And then it was like, wait, if we get married, one of us going to be like in a dress and one of them in a tuxedo. So we've never been itching to actually have the wedding. So
we will.
Listen, look at Curtin Goldie, you guys. It works.
I know.
And when we do it, by the way, it's going to be like a impromptu flash mob situation in Greece. Yeah. And nobody's going to know it hit them.
Jake, if I'm not there, you are dead to me.
Yeah, me too.
Well, Rachel, you remember this?
So that's what I was going to say is that Jake came to me. I remember summer 2000. It was right after Skylar was born. So 11, like June 2011.
And I asked for Brian's hand and your permission.
He did.
Oh my God.
You were not there. Roger was not there.
I never heard this story, I don't think.
Oh, no, this is true because I remember we went upstairs in my parents' house. Jake came over and he said, I have to talk to you. And I was like, oh my God, are they breaking up? I'll die. I can't get through this breakup. And I remember Jake taking me upstairs and Skylar was like 3 or 4 months old. And
baby.
And I just remember you saying, okay, I think you were going to Greece to meet him, right? Or Capri, where you were going to meet him.
And I had got this idea that I wanted to propose, and I was like asking you what you think, and you were like 100%. And so that was like a very, positive green light in my mind about, taking that step.
I've been such a huge fan of meal kit services lately, and with HelloFresh, I have found recipes that my family cannot get enough of. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and delicious seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. You can skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and most importantly, affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. I'm telling you now that fall is upon us. So, HelloFresh has the most delicious fall-inspired recipes that you simply have to try. Count on seasonal recipes like pumpkin cinnamon rolls and Friendsgiving-ready sides, as well as fresh, high-quality ingredients that travel from the farm to your front door in less than a week. Not only that, but HelloFresh offers the flexibility you need to easily customize your order on the app within minutes. You can change your delivery day, food preferences, and plan size, or skip a week whenever you need to. So if you're cooking for more people, they'll help you order more. Or if you're out of town, you can skip your order with no fuss. Like I said, I love their seasonal ingredients, and I'm so excited to dive into their fall recipes. The boys are already getting excited about Halloween and Thanksgiving, and it'll be so much fun to know that we can get in the spirit by having delicious fall dishes every night from HelloFresh. And I love that they're a company who gives back to the community. HelloFresh has donated over 4 million meals to charity in 2020, and now they're stepping up their food donations to local communities amid the food insecurity crisis and the pandemic. If you've heard me mention my love of Green Chef before, it's because I love both Green Chef and HelloFresh. I am equally obsessed. But Green Chef is now owned by HelloFresh, and with a wider array of meal plans to choose from, there's something for everyone. I love switching between the brands, and now my listeners can enjoy both brands at a discount with me. So go to HelloFresh.com/14Zoe and use code 14Zoe for up to 14 free meals, including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/14Zoe using promo code 14Zoe. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. And that was it. And obviously he said yes, and it was incredible. And then afterwards we were like thinking about weddings, and we would talk about it on and off. And then I was like, Rodger and I were engaged for like 4 years. To me, the engagement's really the best part. The marriage is just the finality of it. But like ultimately, being engaged is like the honeymoon. I mean, so I think stay engaged forever. Who cares? I mean, do whatever feels right. But it's like, ultimately, there are no rules anymore. I think all those go out the window.
The only reason that I would want you to get married is so I get invited to a wedding. Honestly, I really have no other.
He just wants to go to the.
Just want to go to the wedding. You know, I think it'd be a good wedding. So, like, I don't know. That's really the only reason. I couldn't care less otherwise.
We get that quite a bit.
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys. Like, when are you going to host a big party? It's annoying already. We're due for it. You guys are due for it soon.
I know.
My birthday was
his birthday was the last big party in New York City before the world shut down.
I remember that actually.
I was really there. We were there on your roof thing.
Okay, so I have a question, you guys. I do have like one big kind of general question, but it's a kind of a loaded question. What do you think is like the magic to your relationship? Why does it work? What is the thing, if you had to think about like, we are happy and this really works and will be like this forever because I know like what our answer is, but I'm very curious to hear what you think.
I mean, I think one part of it is knowing that you're supported, knowing that someone's got your back that's besides your family. Obviously, this is your main family. But I think just being honest and knowing that you're supported and supporting each other. I think that's very important.
And no judgment.
Yeah, no judgment. Like, it's a safe place to, talk about whatever you want.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We're changing, we're evolving through this whole relationship. Everyone is. So I think it's normal to talk about all of this and just, know that you're in a safe place to do that.
It's nice, yeah. And as a doctor, I think, probably the number one reason it works is tequila.
I love you so much, Jake.
Rodger and Jake are the same person.
Jake,
you're literally the same person.
Jake, it works because you numb yourself, right? It works because you numb yourself to the constant daily pain.
It's like Brian and I give these deep, heartfelt, thought out, meaningful answers, and then Rodger and Jake give some obnoxious zinger.
It's true.
Like,
no, honestly,
that is really good and funny.
Honestly, it's tequila soda.
I agree. Jake, if you don't have the mixer, you find yourself getting belligerently drunk too early in the evening.
Absolutely.
You got to space it out. No, but the other thing I was going to add to Brian's very nice comment is, kind of just being accepting and tolerant. I find that like, you make a sacrifice, and like there might not be things that are perfect about every part of the stage of your relationship, but unless you conscientiously say, okay, I have to concede, sacrifice, make, changes to make it work. That's, I think, one of the solutions that has worked for us. You can't just have a prefixed idea, and if it doesn't meet that expectation, then throw it all away. So I think that's probably, in addition to drinking heavily, the other real important part of it.
And you have to be open to see that and recognize that idea.
Because I think about that a lot with some of our single friends, and believe me, we have a lot of like perpetually single people, and I see this like inability to be flexible or to change that is really inhibiting them from developing longer term relationships. So it seems pretty simple, but it's really I think the hard part.
Well, it's also harder as you get older.
But Jake, I was going to say that's actually a point, funny enough, that we have not heard on the podcast, because there are a lot of underlying like similarities. There's like a thread of like, trust and safe person. And like Rodger and I always say, like rooting for each other, not competing with each other.
Yeah,
is a big one.
I think that's what Brian was. The other way of saying Brian, like support is not being there to be like, well, I told you so. Like that's not support.
Oh, rooting for them and making sure that, they know
that you're there if they fail.
You're on their team.
And the other thing that's, I think, been very positive for us is a balance between, I don't want to say like power, but just like a balance between us. You know what I mean? Like that's been, there's been points in each of our careers where there's been fluctuations. And, like, I think that balance has been an important part of our growth and sort of change and adapting. So, it's difficult. I see sometimes relationships where one person is, the breadwinner or the celebrity or the, got just a bigger personality. And that imbalance can be difficult to translate to long-term success in a relationship. So we've had a good amount of balance.
Jake, that's really, really two really, really good points that we haven't talked about. And I think there's an adaptability. And I think I'm watching perpetually single friends now as they get older, wanting to stay single longer and longer, because the older you get, the less tolerant you are, the more set in your ways you are. And I think you're right. And I think as long as like Rodger and I have been together, as long as you guys have been together, you have both evolved so much as people. I mean, Jake, if you think about it, and in your careers, and they flip-flop, they equal, they balance, there's a shift in whatever's going on. Brian's not traveling as much. I think with you, Jake, it's like you went from being an ER doctor at a hospital, which is, by the way, the sickest job in the entire world, but to starting your own practices and now launching a new business. And I think you're now more entrepreneurial, and I think there was such a difference before in that.
I also think you're a lot more confident than you used to be.
Well, he is.
You know what I mean? You're much more. It comes through. It's like much less insecurity, a lot more confidence. You know what I mean? Just because, right?
He was this like gorgeous doctor alone in the fashion world. That's pretty scary.
Well, no, I'm saying so. I think there's a lot. It's interesting. It's good.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
But I do think that you guys have grown together, and I think, to Brian's point, I think being supported and feeling safe and not being judged is a huge key to success. I love the work I do and how it's changed and evolved for me over time. I personally thrive in an environment where I can always look forward to what's next, and I genuinely love to connect with others in my industry. If you're a creator who's eager to start conversations about the world of work, who believes engagement is more than a metric, and who thrives on building community, then the LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program is for you. I am so excited about the LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program because, just like its name implies, it can accelerate your career. Finding community, educational tools, and mentorship can be so difficult, but this program makes everything so accessible so that you can truly grow as a creator. You already know how to make content that gets people talking, and the LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program can give you the tools and the place to do it. Tools like a dedicated creator manager and an in-depth training to help you create in an engaging way. Plus, you'll get early access to creator tools and a built-in creator network. What's more, you'll receive opportunities to be featured across LinkedIn, exposing your content to more LinkedIn members. And to top it all off, you'll get a $15,000 grant to bring your vision to life. Yes, you will get a $15,000 grant to bring your vision to life. So apply, join us, and create more than content, create conversation. Visit linkedin.com/creators to apply today. Visit linkedin.com/creators to apply today. Why wouldn't you?
Because then you're open to opening up and talking about anything, that if you know that it's a safe spot. Safe
how
place.
How do you guys know? I think a key to success in a relationship is when you need space. Can you get it? Can you give it? I
just look at him and I go into the other room.
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's exactly what I do.
And for a long time, Brian lived in Europe more than half of the year.
Yeah.
So for the first, I would say, 8 years of our relationship, we did a lot of back and forth. So.
Babes, now you got me here.
How was that, Jake? How's that going for you, Jake?
Did you like those long stretches of non-Brian time?
He keeps the knives very sharp.
Yeah. So, but like we said, with the sort of like the change in what we're working on or doing, now I'm out in my different offices and practices. Whereas when we first met, I was a free agent and I would work in the hospital, but then I was able to travel all the time. Now I don't have that flexibility. So,
not as much.
That space helps, kind of keep us sane. I think it's really difficult with people in the pandemic working from home and spending so much time together. I mean, luckily we were able to prove that wasn't an issue for us.
That wasn't a big deal.
But I think that that's a real struggle that people have, that, I'm not even going into the office. I have to be with this person 24/7.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. I've heard
people
that.
need their space.
I've heard basically either people are getting divorced or having babies. I think it's a lot of one or the other, you know?
And you guys at least are in LA where you have room and space.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a good place to
But Jake, to that end, there are days during the pandemic and even now we're like, we'll both be home all day and night. I won't see him until like 7, 8 at night. And I'll be like, oh, how was your day?
I have great hiding
out
places.
There.
Right.
I just have great hiding places.
But I didn't want to see him.
But that's good for each other.
It's great.
That's great.
It's actually, I think it's really healthy.
We live in an apartment, so it's a little different circumstance. It's harder to like have that really separation if you're not going to an office or, you know, having other things that keep you otherwise occupied. So
yeah, it was nice. We went to the office. We went to the office this week for the first time. It was really nice just changing the energy and being like office energy, home energy.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to ask you guys. You have been, well, I should say Jake has been, and now Brian has been a dog parent for how long, Jake? Forever. I mean, you've had probably dogs.
I've always had dogs. Yeah.
But you are the like dog whisperer. Like Goldie, like we're new to this.
Yeah.
But when we saw you guys this summer, I was like, okay, what do I do? She's eating sand. Can she eat this? He's like, yeah, she can have carrots. I'm like, won't she die? He's like, no.
But did your setting boundaries work?
Oh no.
No.
There are no boundaries.
Goldie has no boundaries. Do these look like boundaries to you?
Look at our puppy. Like boundaries?
Look at our puppy. She's right there. Look at her. She's so happy.
Yeah, she's
so
oh
happy.
my God, I love her. She's really cute.
She is the cutest. But you guys actually have a real, well, I don't want to say Goldie's not a real dog, but you have like man dogs. You have like human. They weigh more than me, I think.
Yeah, we have 2 golden retrievers in a high rise in New York City. It's perfectly logical.
Zaffarelli and Tiberius.
They are the most beautiful dream dogs.
They're English cream Goldens.
Thank you.
I mean, they are, those dogs are actually magical,
Yeah,
I have to say. If I was going to
gorgeous.
have a real dog, it would be definitely your dogs. All right, one of our last questions. What's the biggest fight you've ever gotten in, if you can share it? Do you remember? And how long did it last?
Oh.
We can't share the
Which one are you thinking about?
No.
Why?
No. I just said we can't share.
Wait, no, share it. Wait, I remember one where you threw my phone and broke my phone. Was that the same one you're thinking?
No.
When you see steam coming out of someone's head, that he was literally like gonna explode. What was it about?
That's what's so funny. You don't even remember.
Who knows? But there was a phone breaking incident.
That I know. I had to get a new phone that next day. I was like, "What are you fucking doing?" Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. You can curse.
Hilarious.
But it wasn't very long. I mean, it wasn't.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Okay.
It was like,
And what about the most fun?
What's the most like epic experience you've had together, like travel or whatever? I hope that the answer I'm thinking of is the one, but if it's not, it's okay.
You're thinking the party in Paris.
I'm thinking Paris 2012.
In the hotel.
That hotel was amazing.
Was literally the best like week of my life.
Yeah, that was really great.
Or Natalie's birthday.
Natalie, I was thinking Natalie's. Which one were you thinking about?
When we were in Paris, it snowed. We had that huge room at the Plaza.
The Plaza Athénée.
We had that room that was so big that there was a downstairs. And
Not the Plaza, the Bristol. It was at the Bristol.
The Maurice. We had the
Maurice
suite.
It's the Maurice.
Was it the Maurice?
There
I
was
thought
a downstairs that we didn't even know about.
I think it was Natalie's for sure one, because we never get you in Europe that often.
Yeah.
Right.
And to have you in Italy
on vacation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that was just special. And
that was my first time leaving the kids.
Yeah.
I cried the whole way.
And then there've been so many. I mean, even like,
well, you guys go to Greece every year. That's probably a highlight.
We've had we've been
the Maldives were beautiful.
Yeah, but not even just travel stuff, like going to the Met Gala, or
that's always fun.
Like shit like that, or like going to Oscars parties.
I think that your thirst for life and fun, listen, Brian's always had that. That's always been a thing. But I think, Jake, watching you kind of like join that and love it has been like a treat to watch.
Have you been like, were you always like that? Like more, or were you more serious and like
more
medical?
Serious.
No, I was always like that. I'm like, I'm a weird physician. Like
he's a hybrid.
I love medicine, but it's not my only identity.
You're a fashion doctor.
So I love other things that are interesting and, experiencing things and traveling and whatever it is. So that's why things merged so well between us. But,
you're extremely creative and visual.
Mm-hmm.
So
thanks. Yeah. So, but I mean, there's been so many other things, and not just like events or travel that we've been able to experience.
It's just you have fun together. I feel like you have fun together. I mean, look, Jake, you know this better than anyone. Brian is someone that, like, wherever you go, he's just going to make it more fun because he's never going to let it not be fun. He's always going to laugh. He's always going to smile. If you're in the worst place and you're miserable and it's 105 degrees, it doesn't matter. Brian will be like, it's fine. Life. Raj and I always say that. He somehow manages to smile and be happy through pretty much anything. I don't know that I've ever seen Brian like pissed off and over it. And if he's over it, it's typically it'll be like, we have to go. Jake's hungry. We always know when Jake gets
when
hungry,
he's out of gas, he's out of gas.
He's out of gas, and he has guts to go.
It is a real gift, and that's one of the things that he's taught me. I think is to be appreciative and be positive and be tolerant. And it's such a simple act, but it's so hard. It's
not
to do.
Though. It's hard. It's not simple. It's a gift,
and he does it all the time. And it's like, we put value on other things in the world that are so superficial, whether it's like, who or how popular you are, or how much money you make. And I think that sometimes the value of that is so underappreciated, and, something to really challenge ourselves to try to improve on our daily life, because
myself included. We're all very serious and in it. And I think when, every time we leave at dinner with you guys, we're just like, that was so fun. Like, they're just so light and but even if there's just stuff going on, it's sort of like live in the moment. And I think that's what you take away from it.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Okay. Where do you guys see yourself in 20 years? If you do.
Your relationship, you guys, what do you think?
Like, are you going
to be in New York?
How many dogs?
Are you going to be in New York?
You'll probably be breeding Goldens in the Hamptons.
I was going to say, we're going to be preserved so that we can live another 100 years. But
you probably will be.
I don't know. We maybe say like we're going to retire in Capri.
Yeah.
But it could be also like somewhere like on the West Coast. We don't have a real hard plan there.
But he does want to breed golden retrievers that choose the owner that they want, and they're like 50,000 a golden, and they're
I love you so much.
That is like his dream. They're like they're like running these puppies, like 20 of them, running down these beautiful hills, manicured hills in the Hamptons, and people just lose their mind. And that would make Jake
kind of like
so
best
happy.
in show.
And then they're like diving in the pool, swimming with all these puppies.
You know how much I love to garden, and so. I think that wherever it is, there needs to be a house, there needs to be like a yard, there needs to be that
for sure,
so that we can enjoy that.
Jake is literally, you guys, you don't understand. He is like, in addition to actually saving lives on a daily basis, he actually can. What's the proper name?
Horticulture.
Horticulture.
Right.
Okay.
I kind of like say I'm like a semi-master gardener.
You're
like a prosumer gardener.
Like, it's so beautiful. Like, their outside space in New York, I mean, it's just like, it's unheard of. And I was like, oh my God, who did this for you? I'm Jake. And he'll be like,
Jake,
I can't keep an orchid alive.
Everything.
Yeah. So that's got to be like our long-term plan, to have that kind of space that we can enjoy and
he needs a garden. He needs to be one with the earth.
Let dogs run around. And then we need a basement because Brian has so much.
Well, look at Rachel. She has so much stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I get that.
I always say Brian's a high-class hoarder, so we need to, have a place to keep all of the vintage.
I can't keep that in the basement, babes.
Yeah. Welcome to my world. I know, that's why we had to get
because
upstairs.
Jake, it needs air.
Because it needs to be air. Jake, it needs to be under air. It needs to be under air.
Look at him.
Obviously.
Look at Jake sweating. He's so uncomfortable.
I know, he's
so
sweating.
angry.
You need like a mini house for it.
Oh God.
The amount of stuff.
When we went to Milan over the summer, he went to the storage, and I could feel his temples start to sweat, like he was like getting hot because he saw us.
Because I'm trying to immediately, I'm going into practical mode. How are we going to get this all back to New York to our house in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
You and Jake need to really spend more time together. I think you should have a weekly call.
We probably should.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's put it on the agenda. And we don't really have to talk about much, but just knowing that you're at the other end of the phone and we can decompress will be very helpful.
That would be really nice. I'd like that a lot.
Yes, Jake. Yes. Okay, we're going to ask you a few quick rapid fire and we're going to let you go back to life. Okay, my favorite.
Hold on, and they need to answer for each other.
Oh, sorry, you have to answer for each other. It's like the newlyweds. Okay, Jake, what are you most likely to argue about? Like, what do you bicker about? What's your like quickest like
stuff that Brian leaves around the house.
Are you messy,
and, like,
Brian?
Organized.
Is he messy?
Yeah, like, and his closet. I'm always just like, why don't you like go in there and organize that?
Yeah, you do. Because you organize it, and then it's a tornado now. So.
I've always said, this is my go-to line. You think that this stuff just gets done around here?
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
No, he does
say
say that to me all the time.
And then, and wait, what about this? This is his response.
That's very sexy,
you
Jake.
Like it, babe. You like doing that.
Oh my God, you really do have quite a relationship in a good way.
I love you guys. I do. You guys are for real. I mean, these are the real things. By
the way, not that it matters, but Brian didn't answer for Jake.
I was about to.
Should we care? No, but what would...
Brian, what do you think? Same? What do you think you would argue about the most?
He just leaves his clothes wherever he takes them off. He just drops his clothes wherever they are. So, no,
like
it's
my
not a big
kids.
deal.
Like my kids. Just drop it on the floor. Change. Okay. Kitchen floor. Cool.
I put my stuff away. I'm very neat and organized.
Okay, guys. All right, last one. If you were... I love this one because it's hard.
It's a good one, though.
It is a good one. Okay, Jake, if Brian was a piece of furniture, what would he be?
He'd be an
He'd be like a very, very expensive Italian commode, like a closet.
Okay. I agree with that.
To put all of the like shoes and like the clothes in that he loves.
By the way, I'm with Brian.
Like a vitrine.
I'm with
like
Brian.
that.
I thought you were going to go for like a couch or a bed or something. That's where I was envisioning. And then you went a closet.
I think that's where Jake's going to go.
Very angular,
I think Jake would be a couch.
No, Jake would definitely be a sofa where he can eat his chocolate chip cookies late night.
And his ice cream.
That is exactly what he would be. As much as he loves design and the aesthetic, he needs to be cozy and comfy.
Yeah.
So
that's
some of my favorite memories of Jake are like Hampton's Jake sitting on the couch eating a pint of ice cream. Very snuggly with my children.
Yes, I love a good dessert moment.
You're kind of a grown-up kid, Jake, and I love that about you. You get grumpy, you get hungry. All right, you guys, this was the best. I love you so much.
Thank you.
Love
We
you.
miss you.
I love your relationship. I love that we've gotten to
Watch
see it
it
from the beginning and like just seen both of you evolve so much. And, you know, we love you both so much and continue to be by far and away the most gorgeous couple I've ever known in my life.
Oh my God,
And
there's no pictures here. How are we going
Oh, no, it's okay. I'll share some. But I have to
Jake's
say,
looking for Instagram followers, Rich.
but here's
Come
the
on,
thing.
help a brother
Everyone
out.
follow
Help a
at
brother out.
Dr. Jake Deutsch.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Jake, is that it?
At Dr.
yeah,
Jake.
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct.
By the way, you should follow him because you'll learn a lot. And
Yes.
again, you know,
It's very informative.
we love you guys, and please continue to constantly always appear as if you've stepped off the cover of GQ. Don't
Well,
ever go changing.
congratulations to you guys for doing this.
I
this
think
is
it's amazing. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's
Thank
fun.
you.
We have a lot of fun.
I
And
love
then
it.
Jake, let's keep doing our IG lives because I have a
Okay.
lot of new questions.
Okay.
So
About
many questions.
boosters. Do we need one? Do we not
Boosters,
need one?
Children.
See, I'm already starting. I'm starting my boosters and all the other stuff. So
My medical
So
assistant.
Brian's going to medical
So
school.
Brian's going to write the draft script?
Yes.
Okay, just
Totally.
making
I
sure.
will.
I love you both.
Love you.
Love you guys.
Love you guys. That was a really good episode, and I also love doing episodes when it's sort of like a extension of
mirror.
our family. No,
It's like a mirror.
I will say it is a bit like looking in the mirror with them.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I mean, ultimately, Jake is all like me. He lives in hell daily. with a creative person who
has really big heart and sees joy in life, and
yeah, that's true, and needs another person to make sure that things happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's called yin and yang,
called work.
honey. It's called yin and yang. And by the way,
Yes,
I would like to say that I very admittedly, in the first 20 years of our relationship, was the more high maintenance one. But not high maintenance, but I would say emotionally a bit more controlling, a bit more maybe, I don't know about moody, but maybe bossy. And then
hold on, you've lost the bossy trait?
Hold on. Let me finish the thought. Okay. But I'd like to say that I do feel over the last 5 years since, if I time it right, since we had roughly around when Caius was 2, we did some role reversal. You became the sort of high maintenance, temperamental, moody, controlling one, impatient and the like. And I became the life's going to be all right, let's figure it out kind of person. Would you agree with that? I gave you the first 20 years very graciously, by the way.
Well, thanks for that, Rach. I appreciate it. So what you're saying is the first year, the fact that I stuck around for 20 years is basically a testament.
Listen, I'm not saying you were easy. I just said between the two of us.
Well, maybe, just maybe, when you build up for 20 years without a valve or an outlet, at some point, you
smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah, well, obviously, but I think you just gotta, take control of the situation a little more. And I think the issue is that now that I'm taking control and you're used to taking control, there's a lot of fireworks.
No, I think I'm just annoyed. Anyway, so back to Brian and Jake. Back to Brian and Jake. Brian and Jake. So that was really fun. One point that I think Jake made that I did find interesting was
that he needed tequila to cope with his partner.
You are so irritating.
Why?
I'm
I
tired.
literally was thinking the same thing. Brian had that sweet emotional thing. I almost fell asleep. And then Jake just let out the zinger. The best part about that joke actually was when he went for it a second time and rang the bell a second time with the end tonic. Or end soda, I think, because obviously they wouldn't drink calories. It would have to be soda. Yes,
By
darling.
the way, Jake, they eat a ton of food, those guys. But I will say that I think something I did learn, they've had role reversals, by the way, which I think has been super interesting. And I think one of the points that that Jake made, I thought was sort of adaptability to changes in the relationship and when you fight and how you react to those things. And I think you actually, I'd like to say this year on Yom Kippur.
Hold on, save it for your highlight, Rachel.
Oh, you're right. Okay,
Oh
right.
my God, I'm the only person else that do this show.
Anyway, this was a great episode. It's a great episode. You guys should know that if you don't know what they look like, not to be superficial, you should Google Dr. Jake Deutsch, not just because he's an incredible doctor and has all these amazing medical practices, but because he's really handsome. And Brian, probably from my Instagram, you may know that he already is very, very handsome. Okay.
There's a lot of seriousness in the world. It's fine to just say they're
Keep
hot.
it superficial and say
what's wrong with
superficial.
super hot. I don't think people are listening to this show necessarily for the facts of today.
What do you mean? They're learning about relationships. We are relationship counselors, not professionally.
Notice they said that they root for each other, which is very important. Not being competitive. And also noticing, for instance, Rachel, I think what you were trying to say is for the first 20 years when you were super on the rise and being the career woman. And now I am just such a beast in all the things that I'm taking on.
And by beast, do you mean monster or beast? Do you mean good at things?
No, I'm more like Shrek. I'm like a beast, but I'm soft.
You just compared yourself to Shrek?
Well, not physically.
I'm down with being Fiona. It's cool.
Fiona's hot. But anyway, the point is that I think what you're having trouble with is that I'm just peaking, baby. And I am feeling
my God.
Well, everyone's telling me it's my birthday this week. And they're I cannot believe you're turning
53. He's 13 years older than me. So anyway, he has a 12 pack. Actually, he's I think it's back to like a 1-pack. But a year ago, it was a 6-pack. And he worked really hard. He really worked hard on this body over COVID.
If she saw it more often, she might notice.
Oh my God.
It was back to a
if you like what you've heard, if you like what you heard so far,
those are the fireworks sounds.
Oh my God.
It's a low budget show. We don't have sound effects. We don't have sound effects. It's low budget.
If you like what you heard so far, please make sure you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts and give us a rating and a review. And of course, please keep listening and check us out on our Instagram at Works For Us. Also, tell us your story, you guys. Share your story, your love story or relationship story. We're so excited to announce that there's now a Works For Us phone line that you can call to leave us a message with your very own relationship stories. And we're planning to share our favorites on the podcast. You can also ask us for relationship advice, although I can't stress enough, we're not actually by trade experts, but you probably already know that. But we, of course, will still take your questions and give our best answers. So if you want to share your story or ask us a question, give us a call at 657-549-2251. 657-549-2251. You can also find all of our contact info on our Instagram at works.for.us. Okay, so before we go, we want to leave you with our weekly little highlight and lowlight from our week. Because in relationships, the bad comes with the good. So this is our time to mention a little bit of both of those things. Babe, your highlight and your lowlight.
I'm going to start with the lowlight. I've been really, really nice. Really nice.
Okay. That's your highlight?
No, that's my low light. You know why it's my low light?
Why are you talking like this?
Because this is my radio voice, Rach.
We're not on the radio.
We're on a podcast.
Oh my God, you sound like a freak. Can you get your normal voice back, please?
It is my normal voice.
Okay, that's better. All right, go. What's your highlight? What's your low light? I got things to do.
Oh, God. Well, fine. I was going to start with my low light, meaning that I'm like super nice and super like engaged. And I thought that would correspond to a level of niceness and engagement from you. And I don't know that I'm feeling it back. I think maybe you just need to also just save up sort of like the 20 years.
What's your highlight?
The highlight is I'm hopeful, and what keeps me going. And
Didn't the Rams win? Isn't that a highlight?
It is very nice. Yay, Rams. 3-0. Thank you very much. My highlight is that
Tom Brady.
We did.
What's Tom Brady's team again?
The Bucks.
Right.
Buccaneers.
Right.
Yep.
Is it just called the Tom Brady team?
No.
Team Tom Brady?
No. Although I think they sell out when they go to other stadiums. Just saying.
Obviously.
All right. Well, my highlight is that I really am looking forward to spending this fall holiday season with you, my love.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. My highlight is definitely your new level or approach to reactivity.
Reactivity.
Did we decide that was an actual word? Like you could put it in a Scrabble game, or was that like a made up word? No, reactivity might be a word.
I'm pretty sure it's a real word.
Probably it deals with like electrical reactivity, science, chemistry, something like that. Anyway, point being is that Rodger on the Jewish holiday went on a very long hike and came back a totally changed person and said, this is the new me. I'm gonna have more patience. And I've realized it's just all about my reactivity to things. And he's gonna look at how he reacts to different situations. And I have to say, I think it's been 10 or 12 days. And I've been
really nice.
You have been literally a totally different person.
I agree.
Okay, anyway, my low light is, okay, guys, here's the thing. For all of you parents out there that were really, really, really excited for our kids to go back to school. And don't get me wrong, I'm so happy kids are in school. But getting back to school mom life in addition to my other life, it is hardcore. Like getting up in the dark, getting them out the door, it's a whole nother full-time job, as all of you parents know. So that low light is really challenging to kind of get back in the school mom schedule of life and how early it actually is, and the homework and all of that. But anyway, wishing everybody a really safe, awesome week filled with lots of highlights. And we will see you all next week. We won't see you, but we will speak to you, and keep listening. We love you guys. Bye.
Does money stress you out? Let Facet flip your financial chaos into clarity.
Finding Facet immediately put us at ease.
Facet's innovative approach to financial planning ensures your money works as hard as you do, enabling members to experience the joys of having your finances in order.
And that makes us Facet for life now, I guess.
Visit Facet.com, FACET.com to learn more. This ad is sponsored by Facet. Facet Wealth is an SEC registered investment advisor. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities, nor is it investment, legal, or tax advice. These testimonials are from current Facet members who are not compensated. All opinions are their own and not a guarantee of a similar outcome.
This is Dr. Laurie Santos from the Happiness Lab. Many people have questions about how to improve levels of happiness. Living a healthy lifestyle is one sure way of increasing happiness. And a good place to start is with your oral health. Just a few small changes to your oral care routine, such as changing your toothpaste to Colgate Total, can lead to beneficial changes in your oral health. Colgate Total helps stop oral health problems like gingivitis and cavities before they start, because preventing oral health problems is a lot easier than treating them. Be dentist ready and get Colgate Total at shop.colgate.com/total.
You know it's a good restaurant when 2 weeks later you're still craving it. Tacos and Tequila is definitely that for me. Hey, it's Otis. If you're looking for the ultimate game day experience, you got to check out Tacos and Tequila. They got unbeatable game time specials, half-price apps, $8 house margaritas, $4.50 Dos Equis, and 5 convenient locations. Buford is the one that I love and go to a lot. Buckhead, Cumming, Lawrenceville, and Midtown. Trust me, it's the perfect spot to enjoy great food, amazing drinks, and a refreshed, delicious new menu. Head over to TTATL.com for the info. Tacos and Tequila, your Copa America headquarters.